When they raise it from 85 to 500, that calibration means that they were way off somewhere.
I will pay more if it's faster, more convenient, more efficient, as long as I know what's going on. I don't like when things are being hidden from me or shady.
What happened when eggs went up to like $12 for
Remember that? They're still up like that in Cali, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Cali is
you guys
up.
have high prices all the time. They have to process differently for every state. This fee covers what they have to do in the back office. So I'm old, but we're going to use some young whippersnapper language. Okay?
I'm here for it. Let's go.
This whole episode is about no cap, right? No state cap, that is.
State cap.
Right? We're talking dealer fees. We're talking what the dealership charges you. And Danielle, you're going to share with us some of your feelings on this, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on, how it's different by state. But we're kicking off with California, okay? Not only are they trolling the national media right now, but they have changed what the dealership is allowed to charge the customer. There's a lot of feedback, frustration about it, and we want to get your take. Tell us what you feel about this, what you think, what kind of questions you got about this.
Yeah, I mean, let's give them the facts. So initially, the dealer fee was $85. Now they're wanting to raise it to $500.
That's a lot.
So just like at the first glance, that seems like obsessive, like excessive, like a big jump. But then, like, when you look around in some other states, it's a lot higher than that. You know what I mean? Like, I live in Florida, and they can charge up to almost $1,000 for this dealer fee. So immediately when I was looking at this initially, I had a different perspective, but I'll get back into my California mindset. I did live there for a year and a half. So I'm going to get back into my California mindset of how they think, because it sounds like up until this point, California protected their people and didn't allow dealers to kind of go crazy with that dealer fee.
Yeah.
But now it's going up. How do I feel about it? I feel that by way of inflation, by way of the times, there does need to be an increase. But what they need to do, and this is what we need to really look into, is how they communicate this to the public.
Yeah.
They can't just spring it on the public. They can't just do it out of nowhere. They need to kind of inform. And dealers are going to have to do a better job of explaining this change, because for the consumer, if they're not used to it and they only buy a car maybe once every couple of years, that's going to be a big shift.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you think about it, Phillip?
I mean, look, if you were going to tell me that something that I use regularly or do regularly is going to go up over 10 times, nope, that's bad math.
It's okay.
4 times.
4 times.
I'm here, guys. I taught elementary school. Those are the kids that are coming into the world now. But if you went over 4 times, right? You took my eggs up. What happened when eggs went up to like $12 for?
Remember that? They're still up like that in Cali, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Cali is
guys
up.
have high prices all the time. I'm surprised that the dock fee was this low for starters, right?
Because the regulations probably kept it low.
Right.
That's my guess.
California's always more expensive anyway, but I think about it and I'm like, okay, it's going up to $500. Now, somebody who's in the automotive space knows what that fee covers.
What does it cover?
Don't.
What does it cover?
So,
let's break it down for everybody.
You have a sales team who's going to come in. They're going to talk to you. You have your F&I people who are going to sell you extra stuff. Then you buy your car and you're out the door. The purchase is not done. There are people who work in a back office, usually a windowless room. It's not a very fun job. It's very thankless, and they have to process all of your stuff. Every state has its own titling process. So they have to know if you live in a state that sells to others, like you live in like New Hampshire, they're selling to Vermont, Massachusetts, all those. They have to process differently for every state. So this fee covers what they have to do in the back office, how they get your car titled. Do they submit to the DMV? Are they handling your paperwork for your F&I products? That's what this fee does. But dealers aren't great about talking about it, and it feels like a ripoff because you walk in and you're like, okay, I bought this car for $10,000. I bought F&I products for $3,000, and then you charge me another $900 for what? It just says dock fee or processing fee. But that's what this fee covers. When you think about it in the state of California, where regulations are through
out the wazoo,
right? You're just charging $50 for that? That can't be enough money.
I know, because if they're charging $50 for it, where are they taking from other places to make up for it?
Exactly.
Is that coming out of other taxes or things? Because like, how have they survived this far without this going up? That's what I'm not sure about.
Look, every time I go out to California, I'm like, how are you guys surviving? A gallon of gas cost me $93. So I don't really understand that, but I think that they have to absorb it from their front end margin, right? So what they're taking out of the front of what they make, their F&I products probably have to absorb some, but ultimately the customer is going to have to pay it somewhere.
Right.
Right. So it allows, when they raise the fee, it's going to allow them to actually have a more transparent experience with the customer because they don't have to try and hide it anywhere else. And I think that that's good, but it is shocking. It is shocking. Like in Virginia, Ain't no limits, right? No limit soldiers up there. You can charge whatever you want for your dock and processing fee.
What does that look like, though? So, like, if a dealer's like decides I want to charge $900 for
Mhm.
this fee, does it now become negotiable? Because I feel like everything's negotiable, and I thought this was one of the fees. So at least in Florida, it was like dock stamps. Like you can't negotiate that. When I used to do real estate, that like you couldn't negotiate that. But like with this fee in Virginia, like is that a negotiating thing?
Yeah.
What goes down?
And sometimes they'll make it extra high so that they have extra leg in the deal. So you'll come in, it'll be like $1,000, and you'll say, oh, but I want this car for $500 less than what you're selling it for. Well, great. I overcharged you on my dock fee, so I'm going to cut that in half. I'm not going to tell you until the end when I'm ready to close the deal. So I keep it in my back pocket. I hold it, and then I'm like, what if I gave you $500 off? Would you sign today? And then you're like, oh, $500. That feels like something I should do. And then you sign your name on that line, which means nothing, but everybody does it, and they feel attached to that car deal. Right? So you sign your name, and they cut their dock fee in half. They didn't lose any money because that money was made up anyway.
Because that dock fee for real, it seems like it's probably $85. Or are we lowering it? Because it sounds like everybody's marking it up, charging crazy. Like, was California maybe the only state that was doing it right up until this point?
They were doing it right for the consumer, but they were doing it wrong for the dealer.
Okay.
Because those people deserve
expand on that more.
Right? So they're saying we want to keep it low so the customer has the lowest barrier to entry to buy a car, which is great. But then the dealer has to get tricky. They have to find money from somewhere else, and those people in the back get paid even less and have fewer windows. Okay? So you want to take care of everybody in this situation. $85 is way too low for a dock fee. Realistically, each car probably $200 to $300 is what it will take to process all of the things that have to be done per vehicle. Yeah. And if you have any kind of snafus with that, or the DMV says, hey, we need extra information, they're not going back to the customer and saying, I need another $100 because now I got to talk to the DMV to get you your tag because something was sent in wrong, or you wrote your name wrong on your credit app, or any of that. They don't get bumped for it. So it all has to be absorbed in that fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that 61% of car buyers are unclear about what this fee is, and they're upset about it?
I can believe that.
This is a Cox study, so you know that that's legit.
It's legit.
61% is a large number. I know for me, before I got into the auto industry, I was leasing back then, I think you remember. I only had a handful of cars before kind of getting into this industry. And I always remember, like, there's just so many fees and things and I just assume that, like, it's just part of it. And I kind of I didn't understand, like, what could be negotiated, what couldn't, what is legally has to be there and what doesn't. And it's like, but that's a common theme. Like, there's not enough content out there educating consumers about these things. I know now on YouTube there's a little more, but like, it just seems like that's the only way that we can maybe make a change for this.
Yeah, really explaining what it is. Some dealers are upfront about it. Like the dealer I was in last week, they had it listed. Well, actually, their dock fee was $7.99 when I walked in, and by the time I walked out, it was $8.99, which I thought was hilarious. They just printed it on a piece of paper and put it up there, and they're like, the dock fee has to change because we have to make more money because it's costing us more to do this stuff, right?
Do what stuff?
Yeah, all of the things that we talked about with that titling, like that's what it's costing them. Now, is it overinflated? Yes, that one is definitely higher than it needs to be. But that dock fee does cover some things. And the thing that I think about it, if I go and rent a car at the airport, they're like, your rate is $81 a day. And you're like, wow, $81. I rented for 2 days. Your bill is $287. And you're like, how did I get there? 2 days times 81 is not that much. And then you see like
all the
fee for the airport,
surcharge,
fee for existing. Did you breathe today? Or are we going to pre-gas it? Like you have all of these things listed out. Most of us don't have time to ask questions and do our due diligence and search it. But on a rental car, it's not that many dollars, right? On a real car you're buying, that's a lot. Like $900 is a lot. So can the dealer be more upfront about it? Is there a process they could do, right? You bought a car. Would you want them to tell you everything that was in the dock fee?
I would like to know. I'm one of those people that transparency goes a long way. I will pay more if it's faster, more convenient, more efficient. And as long as I know what's going on, like I don't like when things are being hidden from me or it's like shady.
Yeah.
I would much rather know what it is and like if they explain to me it's because of I need to title the vehicle, pay these office staff, like I get it.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's such a big disparity across the country is interesting. But I do understand that like different states have different price points and stuff. So I don't know. It just seems like maybe that $500 is probably more standard. Like that may be the right amount, and that other states are just going ham with it and like doing like 900, 1,000, 1,250. You're like, whoa. And then there's addendums and other things that they try to put in addition to this. So it's like maybe California has it right because it was 85 for so long, and 500 may be the right number. But I'm sure out there they're going to be complaining and protesting and mad.
It's true.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, definitely. People are like, what? You're upping my fees right here. And California is a state where state regulations matter and they're much more impactful than other ones. When they raise it from 85 to 500, that calibration means that they were way off somewhere, right? So that was way low if they're saying, okay, we're going to go up at least whatever it is, 4x. So it was definitely off. And people will be angry about it, but if they can be transparent, like you were saying, and explain it, I think it comes to fruition because it has to happen, right? So it went into like making it a law, state law, SB 791. We've got to raise this. So people evaluated it. They looked at it and they said, something has to give here.
They had to vote on it, right?
They had to vote on it.
Had to go through a process. Somebody just didn't just like make this call and just do it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It took so it's in place.
What's interesting is people are mad about it there, but out here where we are, where I live, we don't even think about it, right? No cap.
No cap.
We did it.
Stop the cap.
No cap.
So it's like, yes, California, you have a right to know what's going on. I'm glad that you're transparent. Other states should follow suit, and we should know more as a consumer about exactly what we're paying for.
I like that.
Yeah. Vote for Phillip. No, I think that is really important, And I mean, in 2019, JD Power, the actual cost per transaction was $447 is what they were paying, right? So
for this fee?
That's what it actually costs to process. All the things that go into the dealer processing fee, that's what a true fee should have been. So it should have charged $447 because that's the actual cost of the dealership's business in processing and documentation.
So that $500 is right on point.
And that was in 2019.
Oh, so it's probably a little bit more.
Right. You got inflation, you got all the other things. So yeah, I mean, $500 feels like it's pretty accurate.
It just makes me wonder, they're going to charge $500. Are they going to keep having to increase it year over year, or is it going to stick? Because I was reading earlier that it had been low and only been increasing slowly, very low numbers, and this was a big jump.
There are some things that could make it easier. So there's a lot of electronic titling software now. So that could save time if we could get it to be specific and accurate.
More automated?
Yeah.
Make it faster?
You think about that, you need less bodies.
Less humans?
It's just everything. It's like ordering at McDonald's now, right? Is anybody here to serve me? No, go talk to the computer, right? And so McDonald's is going to cut costs there. Sorry, McDonald's. But they're going to cut costs that way. This could do the same thing for a dealership. If I could get my electronic titling software and all of my processing software to do it for me, I could do more deals with fewer bodies, et cetera. So it could go down. The problem that I see is every state doing its own thing.
Yeah, why don't they become more uniform?
That's the weird thing.
That's the hard part, right?
Right. Yeah. There's some states you have different things you have to declare. Some states have different signatures on their title apps. Some states have different requirements for what you're going to process. And I know in the state of Wisconsin, if you want to do a lease on a Toyota or Lexus, you still have to use an impact printer, like an Oki Data, like that thing.
The one where it goes.
Yeah, and it impacts the multiple pages. That's still a state requirement.
They're still around?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they're not fun to calibrate.
That's in Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, cheese curds and impact printers.
That just seems like a recipe for disaster if that thing breaks.
Exactly.
Then what do you do?
And if some of the people from Wisconsin that I know are watching this, we're here together. We've been through this disaster multiple times. So it's a very real story. Okay. But yeah, I mean, you think about that, like
paying for that ink should be $500 alone.
It is. And then the people in that office have to know where it's getting titled so they know which state's information they need to send to whom and what printer they need to use. Like I sell it in Minnesota, I may not need that, but I have to know that. I have to be the person who knows it, so I send it out right? So if we could have it uniform across the country, it would be easier, it would be better. That's what would really save the consumer money. So instead of always getting mad at the dealer, think about what it actually takes to get your car up and running and rolling for you, and then attack that. That could be a better strategy.
Yeah, because it's almost not the dealer's fault. It's like the regulatory things, the titling and the legality side of it that's not like tied to the dealer, but they get the brunt, right?
But now are you asking for more government involvement or less government involvement? It's a slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to these fees, here are the 3 takeaways I have.
Okay.
Number 1. Be transparent. Because if you're transparent about these fees, the consumer is going to appreciate that. They'll be more open and maybe there won't be so much negotiation.
Yes, I like that.
My second point is California. Maybe they're the first of other states to do more of this. We should be on the lookout for other states. I'm not aware of a lot of other states who have this regulatory thing that they did where it starts so low, but let's see. Maybe they're going to be a pioneer to other states that want to start doing this.
Yep. Maybe we should talk about how we could have the federal government really make sure that the regulations for what's happening in a car deal are across the board.
Yeah, keep
Right.
it easy.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Hiss.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
That's what I think we should do.
That's what we should do.
Mhm.
No cap.
Oh, I used it wrong again. I'm never going to get these things right. Skibbity toilet or something.
Skibbity.
Is that a thing? That's a thing, right? Am I old now? I feel old. But yeah, I think all of these things are impactful. Everything that you said makes sense. And we got to figure out how we do that to make it easier for the consumer.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if they are comfortable and they know what to do, it's going to be a better experience. And if the software can help, AI can help, making things more automated, more easy, then we'll be in good shape.
Yeah. So I think everybody should be on the lookout for this. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're signing for. Know what you're paying for. Talk to the dealership about it. And if you got a question, ask it because they're going to tell you. They want to make sure you're happy.
If this conversation resonated with you and made you think a little bit, make sure that you hit subscribe, and we can't wait to see you in the next episode.